Today I would like to talk about Ouija boards. In some of the videos I've already done, I've talked about some of my experiences dealing and dabbling with Ouija boards. So I'm going to delve into some of both of those stories plus some other experiences. So the first one was when my best friend and I and a girlfriend of ours went to the local cemetery on Halloween to play with the Ouija board. Um, that one, I'm not sure. To be honest with you, I don't think we closed that board that night. Because it's been since I was 18, and that's been a long time ago. But anyways, I left out a Ouija board that we had used in the cemetery that night. I had put it into my trunk of my car because I wasn't allowed technically to have an Ouija board in the household because my family is really spiritual, religious. So I left it in my trunk for, I would say, maybe 2 months. Never touched it again. One night I was over at my best friend's house again, visiting her and her husband, and it was getting late, so I just decided I was going to leave for the night. So I was heading home, and I got a flat tire. Well, when I got the flat tire, I pulled into a Publix, and there was a Shell station up at the top of the street. So I got out of my car and I walked over there to the Shell station. And when I went in there was an older woman at the counter, and there was like I would say, teenage guy, and he was stocking the shelves. And they asked me if I needed any help, and I was like, yeah, I have a flat tire, and I just want to see if maybe possibly you could help me fix my tire. And the guy's like, yeah, I'll go and help you. So he follows me out to the car, and I pop up the trunk and show him where the tire is, and he saw the Ouija board. He's like, oh my god, I've been wanting to get one of those so bad. I was like, okay, well, if you change my tire for you, I'll give you that damn thing if you want it. So he's like, cool, all right, bet. So he changes the tire, and of course, I honor what I said, and I handed him the board, and he's like, thank you so much. And we split ways. Well, a few days later, I went to go back to the gas station to, thank him again and to give him some kudos with his manager for what he did. And so I went over there, and there was the manager and a few other women there, and I asked if I didn't get the guy's name, but I described what he looked like. I said he worked a few days ago around like 1 in the morning, and he actually helped me with my tire, and I just wanted to say, thank you to him again, and just let him know how great of customer service, and he went above and beyond for me. And the manager's like, there's nobody by that name, or the way that you described him. There's nobody. I don't have any men that work at night. And I'm like, oh, you don't? Okay. I was like, well, shoot. And she's like, I can pull it up on the camera for you. I'm like, no. I was like, well, I know for a fact because I touched the guy. I shook his hand. And, I know he was real because, I touched him. I felt him. And so I just let it go. I just chalked it up to it was a weird event. Moving forward, I know when me and my daughter and my son were over at my ex-mother-in-law's house, and I was playing with the Ouija board, and, it had spelled out, if we can't have you, we're going after her, talking about my daughter, and I threw the board. Well, I didn't say goodbye. I didn't close it out. So I started having nightmares after that for a while, and I finally got in contact with somebody, and they told me, well, you need to go and get that board, and you need to close the board. And so I went back over to my ex-mother-in-law's the next day, and I had placed the Ouija board in its box on top of her refrigerator in the very back, so I knew no one would get up there. And the only other person I knew was her. And so I go over there, and I get in on a chair, and I tried to reach for it, and I'm like, it's not there. So I asked my ex-mother-in-law, I was like, hey, Kathy, where's that Ouija board? And she's like, it's up on the refrigerator still. It's like, no, it's not there. She's like, well, that's kind of weird because nobody else knew that it was up there besides me and you. So I was never able to close that board, which comes to another situation that I've dealt with. So I started having like a infatuation, or as, and I would say like maybe like an addiction problem to Ouija boards. I would always seem like, I want to play with an Ouija board. I want to play with an Ouija board, like, really bad. Let me go buy one. And it's like something in my head's like, yeah, you need to play with an Ouija board. So I would go and buy a Ouija board, play with it, and then I'd get rid of it. Buy a new one and get rid of it. And it was just like back and forth, back and forth. And I noticed that every time that I would play with an Ouija board, this one entity comes through. Well, that one entity is it's a demonic spirit. I'm not gonna give it any power by giving the name out because that's just not good. But whenever I would get onto a board, if I was speaking to something else, it would literally boot it off the board and take control over the board and would not allow anything else to come through to talk to me. It doesn't matter who I'm with. When I was playing the board, it will come through, and it's like it picks up right up from the last time I played with it, which is really freaking weird. And I researched on this demonic entity, and it's not it's up there. It's not Zozo, but which I've never, in my time playing with an Ouija board, I've never communicated with Zozo. I'm not saying that Zozo's not real. I've read plenty of stories from other people that have experienced Zozo. But this one, I think since I didn't close the board at my ex-mother-in-law's, it has attached to me, and there's no way that it will go away because I've not been able to close the board because the board has disappeared. Anyways, I'm going to start making some other videos of other people's stories that have sent me some emails. So if you have an experience with an Ouija board, please feel free. I would love to share it on the channel so other people can hear and listen and maybe get some good advice from your story. My email address is scaryskystories@gmail.com. I hope you have a great day. Bye.